I just want to start quickly by talking about the leadership contest. We had interviews, of course, with two candidates today. Who would Labour be most scared of fighting at a general election?
Oh, I think you've got this chaotic catwalk of contestants now who are all been defending Boris Johnson for the last few years, who've also all been part of 12 years of failed Conservative government with low growth, with soaring cost of living and also run-down public services. So I think all of them, and they're all continuing to defend Boris Johnson staying in post right now when frankly he should be gone. I think all of them are really part of this catalogue of failure. They're all of them been letting the country down, and that's why we don't think any of them are right for the country. We need a fresh start, a better future for Britain.
OK, you were mentioning there about Boris Johnson staying in post till autumn. On Thursday, Keir Starmer said that if he does try to do that, then Labour will call a vote of no confidence. Is that still the plan?
Yeah, I think the problem is that you have somebody who is still in Downing Street, who no one thinks has any duties, any sense of duty to the country, who's been responsible for lies, for law breaking, and also today's allegations around abuse of power towards a young woman while he was the Mayor of London. And the point you raised in your introduction, the serious security breach that appears to have happened while he was Foreign Secretary, meeting with an ex-KGB agent straight after going to a NATO summit to discuss Russia at the height of the Salisbury crisis, and going without officials, going without any security, apparently going with a guest who has never been disclosed. Serious security questions about that. Nobody feels confident that Boris Johnson is going to do what is right for the country. That's why he should be gone now. And all of the Conservative candidates who you've been interviewing, they should all be supporting him, leaving now before he does any more damage.
You're going to have to rely, if you are going to push this vote through, on a substantial number of Tory rebels. But isn't it likely to have the kind of opposite effect? You're really kind of uniting the Conservative Party against a common enemy here.
I think they've got to consider, do they really want to support him carrying on, as you said, potentially making more peers in a completely inappropriate way, but also nobody has confidence that he is going to do what's right for the country in the meantime, even as a caretaker Prime Minister, because he has so badly lost trust and it's clearly just all about himself. So I think that's what all of the candidates and all of the Conservative Party need to be taking very seriously, is what is in the interests of the country? What do we now need to do to deal with these 12 years of lost growth, the 12 years of wages falling behind, 12 years of damage to crucial public services like neighbourhood policing that's been lost, or the NHS that has been run down with waiting lists soaring. Time and again, I just think the Conservatives have no answers to this. It's only the Labour Party that's been setting out a proper plan for the cost of living, with the windfall tax on the oil and gas companies, to then cut people's energy bills to actually help people through this crisis. It's only Labour that's got a proper plan to grow the economy. That's why we believe we just need this fresh start.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because, you say that the Conservatives got 12 years of misery that they put on the United Kingdom, that there's a cost of living crisis, that Labour's the one with a plan. And then the one policy that you talk about is the windfall tax that is already happening anyway. And it also, is really just a drop in the ocean if you look at what's actually needed. It's not really the radical, inspiring vision that the rhetoric suggests, is it?
I think what it did was it set out a principle, which was the Labour Party wants to help people and families right across the country with their energy bills, and the Conservatives, who opposed it until we just put so much pressure on, they were forced to U-turn on it. And all of your candidates have all opposed the windfall tax throughout the last few months when we've been debating this. Whereas what they were doing was defending the excess profits of the oil and gas companies. And in the end, that's about who you stand up for. Do you stand up for a small number of private companies that are making excess profits, or do you stand up for the vast majority of people across the country who need a fair deal? And in the end, I think that is the divide between the Conservatives and Labour, and it's why all of the candidates that have put themselves forward and everybody that's been involved in these 12 years of Conservative government have been letting the country down.
Just finally, this week you raised the April 2018 meeting between Boris Johnson, then Foreign Secretary, and Alexander Lebedev in Italy, the former KGB officer, without any officials, without any security. You say that goes to the heart of our national security. Can you just be clear exactly what you're alleging here? Because it is right to say, of course, that with his stance on Ukraine, his relationship with the Ukrainian president, you know, he's not exactly under Russian influence, is he?
I think the issue is whether you have somebody who is just careless about national security risks. We don't know what happened at this meeting. We don't know even whether the Prime Minister actually declared the meeting properly or told officials about it afterwards. It just sort of feels unthinkable that at a time when we'd had a chemical attack on UK soil, and it was so serious that we're having meetings with NATO about how to respond to Russia at that time, you could have a foreign secretary, then foreign secretary, who would then just go and have a meeting with an ex-KGB agent, someone who has since been sanctioned by Canada for close links to Putin. And to have that meeting at that time shows a careless disregard for national security risks. We actually need to know the facts about what happened and the facts about what action was taken once Boris Johnson returned and why on earth he was so irresponsible with our national security at that time.